Welcome to the Lyssn podcast, your space to tune out the noise and tune in to the wisdom that already lives inside you. I'm Alyssa, and through soulful conversations and grounded reflections, we explore what it means to live your bliss, to walk through life aligned, intuitive, embodied, and lit up from within. Because the answers you're seeking, well, you already hold them. The real question is, do you have the courage to listen? Welcome to the very first episode of the Lyssn podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to start this journey, and I cannot wait to bring you along with me. So I created this podcast because I feel like in today's day and age, we are constantly being told to search externally for validation and the answers to every question that we have. We're always outsourcing our authority. And I really, through my journey, have learnt to tune back into the wisdom inside and trust my intuition. And I really want to help anyone else out there who is in a similar place on a similar journey. And what better way than to share all of the knowledge I've accumulated over the years in a podcast? So here we are. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alyssa. I am your host. However, most people just call me Lyss. The people who know me, who love me, and then also the people who just can't be bothered with extra syllables. I really want this episode to be a getting to know you. I want to bring you guys into my journey, my life, everything that has led up to this moment here with me sitting on a fluffy stool that you can't see because it's not in frame. So don't jump over to a video version just so you can see the fluffy stool because I see you. But yeah, the soul behind this mic, it's not going to be the polished PR bio version of my story. It's going to be the real, raw, honest, authentic. Here's me, here's all the things that have led up to this moment kind of story. So yeah, I hope that you can see yourself in this story or resonate with it, or I don't know, maybe you just want to be my bestie and I'm totally down for that, bestie. Let's go. Okay, let's break the ice with some fun facts. I am a Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury, which means I have a Sagittarian stellium in my astrology birth chart. It also means I love to travel. I love to learn. I love seeking knowledge. I'm definitely always diving in to find the truth about things. And I'm all about that optimism and expansion energy. And I am just, full of fire. But I'm also a Taurus rising, which means that I like things to be cozy and comfy. I like tea and candles and warm baths. And I like to be grounded. I will be barefoot in the grass, giving Reiki with candles everywhere. Maybe not in the grass, maybe not if it's a windy day, but you get the vibe. You get what I mean. And I definitely romanticize a lot of things about my life, but that's okay because we're fiery and we're grounded, we're passionate. Now, for all those human design girlies, I am a mental projector, which of course means that I do not have ridiculous amounts of energy. I am here to guide. I'm here to project back to people. And because I'm a mental projector, I like to speak things out loud to know how I feel about them. So what better way than a podcast, right? I feel like this is just like the perfect culmination of my human design energy to be here to teach, to guide, and to serve. But because I don't really have a crazy amount of energy, this is the perfect way to channel it. I definitely process through conversation and I see things that other people don't necessarily see about themselves. So I'm always able to reflect that back to them, which is one of the things that my coaching clients absolutely love because I can see the things that they miss. And through discovering my human design, I actually learnt that rest is sacred, not lazy. So if you haven't done your human design, I highly recommend it. It will give you a very different idea of who you are, how you operate in the world. And to be honest, for me, it was like a mind-blowing moment when I realized I was a projector because I was operating as a generator, and we'll definitely go into this in other episodes, but I was definitely operating in a way that I shouldn't have, that wasn't for my design, and I burnt myself out, as you're about to hear, through hustle, hustle, hustle culture, which is definitely not in alignment with my projector's need for deep, deep rest. My favorite color is purple. I am a shameless Disney adult, and no, you cannot tell me that Disney is not for adults. We will definitely not get along, but that's okay. You can still keep listening and I still love you. I'm a very eclectic person, so my life is very random and very full and very multi-passionate. My days sometimes would be running around with the Easter Bunny handing out chocolates to children, then going to manage a City Cave health and wellness center, and then at night dressing up in a red sequined maxi dressed as like a Marilyn Monroe, Jessica Rabbit kind of character hosting a cabaret burlesque show. I definitely have lived many different lives and I can't wait to share all of them with you. I definitely believe in magic, but it's the type of magic that you create yourself. And somewhere between being a barefoot healer and a sequin-covered jazz singer, I realized that you don't have to choose one path. You get to be all of it. Let's talk about my spiritual overachiever era. So being a Sag means that I love learning, I love philosophy, I love diving really deep and searching for the real root cause of things or the truth behind things, and really unpacking what it is that we've been taught and is that actually the truth? You know, I've definitely gone down some conspiracy theory rabbit holes in my day, and that's all well and good and so much fun. But there is the shadow side, which means that for years I was like collecting knowledge and information and reading all of these books and collecting certifications and different modalities to add to my tool belt so that I would be quote unquote ready and that I would be able to help people and create an impact in the world and guide people. It wasn't until I started really living that embodied truth, really aligned, really honest, with full integrity. That was when everything opened up. That's when life went from this black and white to technicolor. And I finally, like that aha moment, that click happened. And I was like, oh, I get it now. That embodiment changed the game completely for me. And every time I have allowed myself to go even deeper into that embodiment and let the logical side part ways. Once the knowledge is there, it's there, right? But once you actually let it trickle down into your body and live that truth and live in alignment with that knowledge, that's where it all becomes so real. But that's also where it is quite difficult and quite scary, right? Because in order for that shift to happen, you need to take radical responsibility for the things that aren't in alignment in your life. You need to actually claim what it is that you genuinely really want, not just keep saying, I'm gonna do this or I want to be like this. Yep. Sorry if you're feeling called out. Don't worry. I get it. I was there too. I've been there. I got the postcard. I've got the t-shirt. But yeah, when you actually start claiming it, everything changes. And that is what I want for you guys. Let's rewind a little bit and go back into my past lives, if you will. And let me take you through what has led me to this moment here, all of the things that make me me and all of the achievements and those things that I sort of accumulated and accomplished over many, many years. I'm not going to go into every single one of them, but let's go into the Cliff's Notes highlights, right? So I actually studied musical theatre at NIDA in Sydney at the National Institute of Dramatic Art because I definitely thought that musical theatre was my calling and that was what I wanted to do. I went over to New York and I studied with some incredible people over there, but musical theatre wasn't always the thing that made me feel at home on stage as much as I loved it. I actually preferred something a little bit more raw, a little bit more risky, and that led me into cabaret and burlesque shows where they're never, ever exactly the same. I've also been a children's entertainer. I've done face painting and balloon bending and kids' parties and corporate entertainment. I've been a singing teacher. I have been a tarot reader. I studied EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. I'm also a Reiki master and a qualified life coach. I managed a wellness center called City Cave. I've hosted retreats and guided so many people through energetic healing. I've also created a seasonal entertainment company as well as a balloon business where we do balloon balloon decor and balloon gifts. So I have definitely lived many different lives, and there is much, much more to all of that as well. But now I actually run a conscious online business that helps people with their health and their wealth to reclaim their power through the most unexpected and magical medium of water. So as you can tell, I am multi-passionate and multi-skilled, but for the longest time, I actually thought that being all of these things made me flaky, too much or indecisive or scattered. And now I understand it for what it is. It's actually my magic. I've walked so many different paths so that I can help so many others who have walked many different paths, who don't necessarily fit into one box either. And I know that if you're here and if you're listening to this, you probably are one of those people too. A lot of us will go to work, but then have these creative pursuits on the side, and we wonder which path we need to take because society tells us we should just be going down one path. When the reality is we are multifaceted beings and we are allowed to have many different things that light us up. Now, in amongst me attempting to find my path, I also struggled to find myself. And it wasn't until I started loving myself, of course, the classic cliche, that was when I learned that I could actually love somebody else. And that somebody else is my beautiful man, Geronimo. But when I met him, I had decided to stop looking for love. I was getting off the apps, I was done with it all. And of course, that's when he came in because I had done a lot of healing at that point and I'd reclaimed all these parts of myself that had been lost for a really long time. And it was the minute that I realized that I didn't need someone else to complete me, and I stopped searching for that external thing and started focusing on my internal world and myself and learning to love myself and learning what self-love really looked like and filling up my cup, that he was able then to come in. And boy, did he come in. In walked this grounded, wildly different man with a heart that I just could not resist. He made me laugh. He challenged me. He became my safe space to land and to rest in. And he held up a mirror to parts of me that I didn't even know still needed to be loved and reclaimed. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying our relationship has always been easy, and Geronimo will definitely be coming onto the podcast, and I'm sure he can attest to this. However, it has always been very real. We have grown together. We have unlearned a lot about ourselves. We have grown through a lot of discomfort and healed each other in ways that we didn't know we needed to be healed. And then came our magical mystery boy, our baby boy, Leo. He has been the blessing and miracle that I did not know that I needed. He has brought so much joy, so much healing, and so much purpose to not only my life, but I know Geronimo's life as well. And becoming parents honestly cracked us open in ways that I don't think either of us ever anticipated or expected. It stripped me of every identity that I thought I had mastered and completely brought me back home to who I truly am. And watching Geronimo become a father has been pure magic. Messy magic, because real love is definitely not perfect. It takes work, it takes presence, and it's in the mundane moments, right? In the stretchiness and the repair and the love and the communication and the everyday choosing to be together. And anyone who tells you that it's a romantic fairy tale and that every day is magical and wonderful and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, I'm sorry, but that is not a real relationship. Because when you get deep, when you get messy, when you really go to the depths of yourself and your partner together in those moments, that is true love. That is being seen in all of your glory, the good, the bad, the ugly, the completely vulnerable, raw and real, and seeing that reflected back at you from your partner in all of their raw, real messiness, and learning that you can love them and they can love you. Now that is real love. But before all of that came my most difficult chapter, the one that completely broke me, my rock bottom. So in my early 20s, I was in a relationship, my first real long-term relationship. And it left me with some very deep invisible scars because it was incredibly violating. I didn't name anything at the time, and I didn't really even fully understand what had happened to me, so I couldn't even voice it if I wanted to. But my body kept the score. And a year later, it all came crashing down. I was on a cruise ship. I had to be carried off. I was then in a wheelchair. I went to hospital, and then I ended up having to move out of my share house I was in at the time, which was an incredibly manipulative and toxic situation. I also worked with those people, so I quit that job. I left that house. I then moved back in with my parents, where I was essentially bedridden for 6 months. I was bedridden, I was broken, I was questioning everything. And that led me into my healing journey. I started meditating daily. I went to see a naturopath. I changed my diet. I stopped drinking completely. I watched an amazing documentary called Heal on the power of the mind and the body symbiotically working together to heal. And then I went to do a course called Life Design. And during this course, one of my mentors guided us through an Osho meditation. Now, this was the first time I had done breath work, and something really cracked open. My ex's face kept coming in, and I finally realized why I had this disease. That's when the healing really began. It wasn't just changing my diet or meditating. It was taking radical responsibility for the choices that I had made, abandoning my truth, which led me to coaching and becoming a Reiki master. And that led me to my path that I'm on now. So I guess you could say that I turned my pain into purpose. Now, that being said, that didn't mean, obviously, because I'm multi-passionate and I have many different things that I love, that I didn't jump back onto the stage. I absolutely found my way back to the stage. We call it Dr. Footlights for a reason. Something about the stage and the spotlight really feels like home to me. It always has. But this time it was actually different. I found my way back to the microphone, and I found my way back to the parts of me that I had left behind. Now, I absolutely love performing, don't get me wrong, but as I performed for tens of thousands of people, I still knew that I had a greater purpose and that there was something more that I needed to give to the world, to create for the world, and to birth into the world, to create more depth, more impact, and more connection. So for years, I attempted to balance it all, my soul work and the side hustles, and I really, really struggled to find ways to incorporate all of it until I came across the model that I currently use, which is our water business. So now I still get to perform, I still get to do Reiki, I still get to host retreats, I still get to create courses, I still get to coach, and I also get to be a mama, and I get to be a lover and a partner and a friend, all without burning out, all without the hustle. Not because I'm hustling for the survival and attempting to find my next gig, but because I've found my soul's purpose. And I get to model that for my son. He gets to grow up watching his mum really living in alignment with her truth. And I think that is so important because I get to teach him how to honor your own energy. I get to show up when it feels right for me and not because I'm burnt out and I'm chasing my worth all through these external things that I think are going to make me happy. Because the reality is happiness comes from within. Ding, 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 another cliche. But it is because it is a cliche for a reason. So why this podcast? Why did I create Lyssn? It's spelled Lyssn. And the reason why is A, because it's a play on my name, but B, because it's the energy behind it that I really want to dive into with you. I want you to not only question why, but I want you to find your why, because I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong in a neat little box, or to keep trying on version after version of yourself, hoping one day you'll find one that's the perfect fit. I know what it's like to question, am I just too much, or am I not enough, or am I just wrong? Am I broken in some way? But my loves, if there's anything I've learned on this journey, it's that you are absolutely not broken. You are human. You're not lost. You're just remembering. You're reclaiming who you are. So that's why I created Lyssn, as a space to reclaim your inner truth, to explore your edges, to integrate the fragments, to stop shrinking, to attempt to fit in with what everybody else thinks you need to be, and to start shining as the true inner version of who you really are, to soften into your truth, to be witnessed, to be wild, to be seen, really seen, to be loved, and to listen and really be heard. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for witnessing me and for seeing me and for allowing me to be vulnerable and open and honest with you and for really hearing my story without judgment. I'm so excited to continue this journey with you. If you liked this episode, I would really be so incredibly grateful if you subscribed, and you can also leave a review so that hopefully we can share this with other people and get the magic and medicine where it needs to go. Please share it with somebody who may feel like they can be seen or might resonate with my story, and hopefully they can come along the journey with us. This is just the beginning, and I'm so honored and excited to be walking beside you. Until next time, my loves, keep listening. Thank you for listening, beautiful soul. If you felt something shift, please reflect on it, share it, and let it ripple out into the world. If something spoke to your heart space today, I would love if you could share it with someone that you love and leave us a review, which will really help more of our soul fam to find their way here. If you want to connect with me, if you have questions, topics, if you want to know more about my courses, or if you even just want to say hi, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. Come find me over on Instagram at Lyssn Podcast. That's LYSSN Podcast. Or you can message me directly at LyssNatalie. My DMs are always open. Until next time, stay soft, stay true, keep living your bliss, and remember, your soul's song is always worth remembering. So keep listening.